Hello there. Welcome to Horseman's Park and Facebook Live. My name is Johnny Ray Gomez, and I use the daily racing form, so that makes me old school.
And I'm Carol Sutton, and I use Predictiform, and I'm new school. And today we're going to help you pick some horses for our full fields and our wonderful day of live racing here at Horseman's Park. So join us as we embark into these fun races. And we've had some requests to explain a little bit more about our handicapping, so we're going to go into some more detail today. So grab your cup of coffee and your program and join us.
That's it. Well, my first race, I go 2-4-5. Who do you like? No. We're going into more. Thanks. As you can see, we have my selections here, and there's Carol's, and sort of put them together. This week has been a rainy one, young lady.
It has.
It rained even this morning, and our tipster here tells us that it was a mess yesterday, but the track looks good, probably a little wet. What would you say?
It does. It looks wet. And, lesson from last week, I graded most of my picks last week on speed, and you know what? Speed fell apart. It was a swing and a miss for me last week, straight up. So this week we're going to make some big adjustments for, the track conditions. And so that is how we've handicapped this week, is to factor in the weather.
Yes.
This is Nebraska. So,
in post positions also, 10 out of the 17 races have been won by horses in post positions 1, 2, and 3. So keep that in mind. Let's see if anything changes, because years ago, all the 6, 7, 8 horses outside were winning, making a big swing on the curve. Watch for that. With that in mind, Carol, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about this race. So this particular race, I've got the 5 on top, mostly because this horse is coming into a 0% spread in Predictiform, and that's significant because it means he's being smart about how he's running races. So rather than coming out guns a-blazing and sprinting and then getting tired at the end, he's starting to realize how far he's running, and he's conserving his energy so he can make it clear to the end. And also, this trainer has a 38% sprint to route rate, and I really like this for this 1 mile race. And then, of course, the 2 horse and is a very logical contender. He's run a reversal, which we'll discuss in a minute. I'll show you what that means, but he doesn't have a strong reversal, so he's not my favorite example of this. And then the 4 horse, I feel like, has excellent numbers, but I think is set to regress a little bit. But the key here is, even if the 4 regresses, his numbers could still be the best of the bunch, even if he has an off day. So those are my picks: the 5 over the 2, 4 over the 3. I think they're logical contenders, but what do you think, Johnny?
Well, it's all day is sort of a riddle for me. It was hard for me to figure out a best bet. I did find one later in the card. I think the breeding says it will like this distance on number 2. That's Go Gold. And then the 4 horse, Be My Shadow, it only was beaten 2 lengths last time, and is naturally picked on a lot of sheets. Now, your 5 horse, I agree, PR Cash King, and it made up ground last week when it was hard to make up ground. So I think with a little moisture in the track, that horse is really live. So for me, I went 2-4-5 for the first race. Moving now to race number 2. Oh, by the way, that's the Royal Zipper Stakes. Race number 1, named after a great Nebraska bred. Okay. Race number 2, Carrie Orozco Memorial Race. And we all know what she has done in the name of the police department and her family. And we thank their family for having this race for her. And here, I think you can throw out the Bossamon Stakes, and this horse was ran second in the Dowd Mile, which it was a open race. And so now I'm going to go for number 3, Smarty Party Papa. Say that 5 times, okay? And number 4 is in top form, and if it's a little wet out there, which it looks like, Be Dangerous Today. I went 3-4 all and tried to catch something long for a trifecta. For me, race 2, 3-4 all.
We've got a fun race because now we have some agreement on this one. The 4 is my top pick here. He's been easily winning some of these races lately. And not only does he have some of the best times in the bunch, he's also got some of the best final figures amongst predictive form. And when he's winning, he gets a soft designation, which means he basically lobbed it in. It was a softball for him. And then he also has one of the best connections. And so while he's going off at, some of the lower odds, I think he's worth it. I think he's, my top choice by quite a bit, along with the 3. And so with the 3, my only thing that I can nitpick here is that while he's running a reversal, which is where I guess this is a good time to explain the reversal. And I'm actually going to get out the marker for this one. And Johnny, we're going to pretend that you and I are horses on this example.
All right.
So, yes, thank you.
No.
All right, so
we can edit all this out. Facebook Live.
Yeah. All right, so as we're going around the track, let's say that the first horse comes out blazing fast, sprints, and I'll be the horse that sprints out of the gate.
Okay.
Comes out blazing fast, sprints, then slows down as it's coming around and can barely make it to the finish line, but still comes in okay. But let's say that you start out the race and you're kind of walking, you're just right behind me, then you're jogging, picking up speed, hanging out, enjoying the day, and then you realize you have all this energy left, so you decide to sprint right about here.
Yes.
And you can overtake me. And so that is what a reversal is when a horse realizes that it can basically walk and sprint the last half. So the next race out, that horse basically has so much energy left. I mean, when you compare the amount of energy that they expended, it makes sense to bet on the horse that can walk the first half and then sprint for, 1/10 of the amount of speed and still get to the finish line in the same amount of time. So that's the designation that we're looking at here when we talk about a reversal. And if you ever use predictive form, it looks like this. It will say REV, and that should make you perk up. That makes you look at the horse twice, maybe 3 times, and really examine it closely. So that's why I get excited about these reversal horses in here. That is why I like your 3.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. That was sharp. Daily Racing Form doesn't draw pictures. We're going to go to race 3. And this is the Friend of Racing, the 2019 Douglas County Commissioner. Her name is Marianne Borgerson, and we need her in office. So vote. I know the polls aren't open, but go vote early. You understand? All right. This one here is over 6 furlongs. And in here, I ended up with the inside horse, Carol. Really in top form, looks like. And should get the money here. It's listed as 9-2, so it's not the chalk. The 6 horse, classy and fast. And it has speed. And then the 5 horse is Hannah Go Baby, and that's the morning line favorite, I believe. And then I ended up with the 3, Dixie Delta, as my 3rd choice. So for me, I went 1-6-5-3 in race number 3 at Horseman's Park.
Well, we've got a lot of agreement again, so this
Okay.
is exciting, especially considering how tough the handicapping was today. And I'd just like to say that for a $3,500 claimer, this is a really nice bunch of horses. I expect these horses to all be moving onwards and upwards out of this race later on. So, but my top pick here is the 6. And the reason is not only does he have the early speed ability here, which hopefully will play well on the wet track today, but he's got the best final figures and some of the best connections. And I think he's ready for a big race, this particular race. And predictive form shows that. And your 1 here I really like because he's consistently good. He never has a blowout. He just is onwards and upwards, just like all these horses will be eventually, just steadily climbing the ladder, just always getting a little bit better. And that's what you want to see in, a younger horse. And the 3 horse has a very nice pattern and ran really well at Fauner. And so I'm hoping that the transition over to Horseman's Park will be a smooth one. And I think it will be. This is an excellent trainer, in Nebraska. And I think this race is a really good fit, especially at this distance for the 3. And so I'm going to do the 6 over the 1-3 in this particular race.
All right.
So-
Exactas, tries, supers.
Yes.
You got it. You can do the whole smorgasbord of betting. Let's go to race number 4. And I'm stepping out here. I went to a horse on the outside, race number 4, Diesel's Prize. It's listed as 4-1, but it's hit the board here at Horseman's Park 3 out of 4 times in its history. And again, it got beat only 2 lengths. Was bet down to 2.5 to 1. 11 years old though, so tread lightly. I'm old school, so I'm going to bet on a horse that's up there in age.
Okay. Diesel's Prize, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is another one where we've got a pretty strong agreement, I believe.
Can I give my second selection?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
already
I'm
we're
sorry.
fighting. See what happens?
Oh, no.
See what happens here. Number 2, Drop in Class. That's Bloomin' Irish, and I'd like this if it is wet, because it shows in an off track 6 for 6 in the money. Put a circle around your 2 horse, but it's the favorite. The 5 won here last year, and it's Santorini. I like that. Sounds like something to eat at Casio's. And won here last year, so I moved that up. I got a 9 as a long shot. Using an outside horse that is quite a gamble. But in here, Cowboy Accent ran real well 3 races back, and been running non-winners of 2, now is in non-winners of 1. It's 6 to 1. So for me, I ended up with race number 4, 7259.
Ooh, we've got some very close
Look
horses
at this,
again.
yeah.
All right, I've got the 7 over the 2-9, but I threw the 1 in there too. For me, the 7 was my top choice by quite a bit, and so I went to the outside also on this one. I just couldn't wait. As soon as you said it, I went, yes. So now we've got a solid pick for today. Not only does he have he's got what I call like the 3 green lights. So he has the best time in the bunch, he has the best predictive form numbers in the bunch, and he has some of the best connections in the bunch. And to me, that is all 3 green lights lining up, go. That's the time that you move betting wise on the horse to me. And then the 2 here, I think, is an interesting pick, just because across the board, there's nothing wrong with this horse. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's in the mix. There's no way I don't think he couldn't be in the mix, if that makes sense, for all the reasons you just explained. And then I like your 9 on the outside here, and he has a designation in predictive form that kind of backs up your long shot mentality here. So he has what's called a cyclical pace top, and this is a designation that perks up when an older horse suddenly comes into form again. So he gets raced back into shape, and he is ready to fire. And with these particular connections, and I'm a big fan of Puzak, the jockey here,
yes.
He's on fire. And I like the fact that he took this horse today in this particular race. And we're going to have another quick lesson here with the 1 horse. So this is one that I'm going to throw in, and his odds are let's see here, 3 to 1, which aren't super desirable, but I'm going to show why I think he deserves the 3 to 1 odds. So I'll draw a quick picture here. So with Dirt, if you look at the spreads between the horse's end numbers and his 4 furlong numbers, and you do the math, this gets the differential. And so this is basically how fast does he start the race, how fast is he still running when he ends the race. And so all you want to see is basically this gap closing as he basically, let's say that these are the newer races over here, as he moves towards this particular race. You want to see the horse constantly getting this closer and closer gap, which means he's getting smarter and smarter about how he runs his races. Because a lot of younger horses and a lot of cheaper horses sometimes don't understand how far they're going, or maybe haven't been trained properly. So they'll come out again going nuts for the first 2 furlongs. They can't hold them back, and then by the end of the 6 furlongs, they're out. They're just shot. So, and not only does he have this designation where he's using his energy more wisely, but all of his final numbers are increasing at the same time. And that is extremely difficult for horses to do. To do both of those 2, good things at the same time, most horses are not capable of that. So the 1 struck a chord with me, and I'm backing the 1 here also. So those are my picks: the 7 over the 1-2-9.
Right.
For race 4.
Let's go to race 5, and handicappers scratch number 4 and number 8. Take out Warren's Big Dr. Boo and the 8 Highway 54. And in the 5th race, this is for the Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund. And just ask any teller, and they can tell you how you can donate money for that worthy cause. 5th race, I went to number 2, Brother Who. Okay, the distance is good. Notice that 2 races back, he only got beat by 2 lengths, and I don't think he tried his best last week in that I picked him, and I'm going to stay on him as I look for him to be able to close this week where he wasn't then. That's the 2, Brother Who. The 1 horse, Mayhawk. Now, everyone's going to bet this horse. It had a lot of speed, finished 2nd, and but I'm going to try to beat it, because if you look at the form, he never has won 2 races in a row. And on an off track, though, here's a nice statistic if you like them. 7 out of 11 races hitting the board when the track is wet. So I guess that equals out. It does show that it probably will win. I tried to beat it. I went 2-1-8, and the 8 horse was scratched. So for me, a 2-1 all. Thank you.
All right. Again, we have some agreement. So I've actually got the 1 on top. Again, a horse that's steadily improving, coming into his own, best times, best cycles, and a trainer that's pretty hot at Horseman's right now. And the 2 horse was really good last year. I just don't think he's found his groove yet this year. And so I'm staying on him also. Last week we both picked this horse, and I'm surprised that he didn't come through for us. So
yeah.
I'm staying on this one also. And the 7 horse I like quite a bit. He has this same pattern that we just talked about, where even though his times are physically getting slower, I think the track that he's been running on has been a little bit tougher each time that he's been out. But his pattern numbers, his races have been smarter, and his final figures have been better. So that sets him up for a bigger race today, and I'm actually fairly excited to see what he can do today. And then for early speed, in case the track is running hot, the 1 and the 6 could battle and could get into a pretty hot pace battle, and the 6 is kind of a wild card for me. I think the 6 could actually come out and wire the race if he gets a wild hair under these current connections. We'll see.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about that. He's in better shape than what he has been in the past, and I think that this is a pretty good chance for him today to maybe throw a wrench in the system. So
the 7 horse that you picked ought to be big odds, but it was out of the 9 post, and broke last with 16 lengths back, and it was 21-1. If this thing wins, you're going to own the track, right?
Yeah,
that's
dinner's
the
on
idea.
me. Yeah,
that's the idea.
Yeah.
Let's move to race number 6. Look at the top line on mine there. I go race number 6, 5 all 7. We're going to try a trifecta in here. The 5 horse has shown talent. It's won its last race and fits in well with here. The all for second in the trifecta is because the 7 horse likes to close, and so also he has run third 10 out of 33 races. He likes to run third, so let's put him there. Let's go 5 all 7.
All right, so I've also got the 5 on top here, and he's got that same pattern. It's recurring today. They've got some horses that are really coming into their own. A lot of talented horses are here today, and it's exciting. So he's got the decreasing spreads, he's got the increasing final figures, he's got great connections, he's got fabulous times, all green lights for me. Same thing with the 2, for all the exact same reasons. They're, very similar horses and very similar running styles, so I'm hoping that one doesn't burn the other today. I'm hoping they just come in together for my own tickets. And then I also like the 1 here, just a very logical contender. but I think that we need to give a shout out to the 6 here because he's kind of a wild card, and he's coming off of the 3rd off of a layoff. It's a nice angle, and he'll be at some pretty juicy odds here. And then the 4 could potentially be the lone pace in this race. He has the best 2 furlong figures by a lot, meaning should he break well, he could be gone before anyone else even has a chance to get started in the race. But the horse hasn't held before to the entire 6 furlong standard at the particular pace that he's capable of. But today could be the day, especially with some strange track conditions. So look out for the 4.
All right, let's move on to our 7th and final race, sponsored by Horseman's Park. And if you see down here, my play in race 7 is going to be a daily double. I like the 5 in race number 6 with all in race number 7. Why? I could not find a really horse to zero in on. I thought about the 3 and 4, but I decided, hey, let's try for a long shot in here. So 5 with all in the 6th and 7th race daily double, and you can have a good time and hope for a long shot, especially if the 5 horse gets there in race number 6. Carol?
Great minds think alike.
Oh, really?
I thought this was the most wide open race today.
Oh, boy.
By a lot.
Yeah.
And there's only 6 horses in it.
Yeah.
But picking one horse in this race, if you single a horse in this race, hats off to you because you're
Yes.
braver than I would be. That said, I do have my horse for the day in this particular race, and that is the 4. I am a little smitten. And here's why. So it's got great Tomlinsons, meaning great breeding figures. And then this horse, first time it ran a plunge line, which means it did the thing where it walks the first half, realizes it's a racehorse, and then goes, I guess I better run now today because we're on a track. So it ran the last half, came into the fabulous figure, which is unusual for a first-time starter. And then it ran a new pace top the next time out, meaning it started the race with intention and finished with a really great figure. And then the next time out, it ran a double top, but it's a young horse, which means it just improved both its final and its beginning time, and just developing so quickly. I hope that the horse's recovery time can keep up with how fast it wants to go. That's my only concern, is this horse wants to run, it loves to run, and I think that the connections here are going to give adequate training and recovery time to let it develop as it should. And so the 4 here is my top pick today, at very long odds. And the 2 here, I'm going to use him defensively. You can't leave him out because the connections are undeniable. He's got the best time in the bunch, but on predictive form, he only grades a B. So use him with caution. And then the 6 and the 3 are both logical contenders just because of connections. And the 3 has got great figures at Fawner, but my beef here is that he's coming back within like 1 week, and I question if he needs rest here. There's no pattern that designates that he should be coming right back into this race. So I'd like to see him also have a little bit of rest. But the 4 is the pick for the day. So, but again, wide open. All is a smart pick if you're doing a big ticket here.
Nice,
So.
Nice pick on the 4 horse. It was 15-1 on the morning line, but I got a feeling it's going to get bet. And I do like its first 2 races, Carol. It ran against Chamberlain's Doors, which has won 2 stakes races, one at Fawner and one here. So he's been in very good company, or her. Let's see, no, it's a he.
Yeah.
They got the mares and the colts running in race number 7. Well, I hope you enjoyed our program brought to you by Horseman's Park. I'm old school, Johnny Ray Gomez, and
I'm new school. I'm Carol Sutton, and don't forget to join us tomorrow. We've got camel and ostrich races here. It'll be fun for the whole family. There will be a shuttle tomorrow, so you can park at the Ralston Arena and come in. And you can do all sorts of things.
Face painting.
Face painting. And
yeah, petting zoo.
Petting zoo. Fun for the whole family.
$1 hot dogs.
Yep.
The list goes on and on.
We'll see you today and tomorrow.
Good luck.